one of the cool things that I get is I get to see a lot of commentary on social media. I get a lot of things that bounce around and ideas that people espouse, and they come out. Like one of my favorite of all times was that the mind doesn't know what the word "don't" means. And I used to hear this, like somebody said, "Don't throw a ball, don't miss a pass, don't hit it in the water," and they would say, "All your mind hears is hit it in the water." Okay, garbage, untrue, total myth, no truth to that whatsoever. Okay, it was a made-up thing that got perpetuated and sent around forever. Just like the story about the guy who was in prison, or the POW that used to see himself hitting golf shots every day, 100,000 times a day, and then came out and shot the best score ever. There's no truth to that. That has never been validated. It's a great story to speak. And if I don't know if I was a POW and I got to go play golf again, I'd probably play the best. Thank you, Fitzy. It's maybe I'm in the room by myself a lot and practicing and just believing that there are people there listening to me. So thank you. I've seen this for a long time. Thank you. So there's no evidence to that. If I was a POW, I'd probably have played pretty well too. Fact is, visualization works and all those other things will work. But I think sometimes we make the mental game to be like these all-knowing thought processes that if you do these, they're going to work. When in reality, everything's kind of murky. One of the ones that gets me is, as players will say, well, if I play better, my role will increase. Maybe not this season. Coaches have to establish role expectations for every player on their team. Just because you're playing well now doesn't mean you're going to play well down the road. It doesn't mean that other players aren't going to play well. Sometimes players play on teams on the field, the best 9 players or the 9 best. Well, we used to play the best 9 collaboratively. Sometimes the left tackle makes the left guard better, even though there's maybe a more talented left guard, but putting those two together makes that side of the line even better. So sometimes your play doesn't increase your role, but your commitment to the team does. And so if players can focus on what it takes to commit to the team and do the little things right and not be self-absorbed onto their own process, they actually may play better. I know in basketball you see getting comfortable, uncomfortable, absolutely. But I've seen coaches get out there and, tell kids, listen, I need to see the high performance defense. Players don't understand that. The kids get out there and play defense. All of a sudden they're on the court more. Let me talk about expectations, because this is a myth and I'm going to jump this one in there. So people say you should have high expectations. Expectations are entitlements based on the future. Taking the past and predicting the future. And I'm going to be honest with you, everyone, you guys all, every one of you can't predict how you're going to play. You suck at it. Okay? If that was the case, you go down to a sports book and load up on yourself every time. You don't know what's going to be in front of you. And when your expectations are how you expected to play well because of something else, and what happens is pressure increases, stress increases, tension increases, flexibility drops, and you play like crap. So instead of expectations, I want players to say, I believe that I'm ready to compete and take on anything. Belief is different than expectations. So I want high belief. Okay. How does that translate to corporate America? Oh, absolutely. Right? You got to be uncomfortable giving talks, got to be uncomfortable. I had a great boss tell me, don't ever think about your next job in corporate life. Think about your last job. I spent 8 years in corporate life doing work in the pharmaceutical industry and doing education, training, medical strategy. And she said, think about your last job that you're going to retire from in this business, in this field, and then start building backwards and move into uncomfortable positions to learn those skills. It was at that time I knew I wanted to be a psychologist working for elite athletes. I'd already had my PhD and was already licensed. I just didn't know what it was going to take. And I took the uncomfortable step of leaving pharma and leaving a very profitable business to get out here in the real world and hustle. What about feeling jealous? I've had this question come up to me. Is it wrong to feel jealous of another player's performance? Nope, not at all. Jealousy is one of the core emotions that humans feel. The difference is if you're jealous and you see yourself as falling short versus seeing yourself and being inspired, that's the difference. I want you to feel jealous, but not in a negative way. I want you to see yourself in the position they have and be successful, not at their expense, but I want you to have that experience. Okay. What about emotions? Can you control them? I hear people say, I got to control my mind. I got to control my emotions. I got to control my thoughts, which is the next one. You can't control any of them. Emotions are the physiological response that we have to stimuli, things that happen to us, that primes the body for action. And to me, thoughts, feelings, and actions are all kind of working in a triangle. But the thing about emotions are sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're stressed, sometimes we're angry. I don't have a problem with primary emotions. If somebody were to, cut you off in traffic, you may get a little upset, you may get a little flustered, you may get a little physiological response to it. The next emotion is the problem. The secondary emotion that is judgmental about yourself, judgmental about the circumstance, or escalates because of something else. I'm fine with primary emotions. You can't control them. But we can become a lot better at turning the channel, finding a better, healthier outlet with our secondary emotions. Don't get mad about getting mad. Don't get angry about getting angry. Don't get sad about being sad. Just be what you are and turn the channel and find a healthier outlet. Same with thoughts. Thoughts arise because it's our mind's way of seeing threat in the horizon. We have to identify things and we're looking for things. And our thought is just nothing more than a thought radar. And we're under stress, under a lot of pressure. Those things are elevating. Okay? And our thoughts increase. And you know what? You are never going to have a series of positive thoughts under the biggest moments. You're not. Why? Because if it's really important to you, there's a lot of risk there. Okay? So your thoughts are going to increase. They're probably going to be negative, and so be it. So what are you going to do about it? What you're going to do is acknowledge the thought and then turn the channel. Okay? All right, let's go to this last one. Hard work leads to success. Nope. Hard work increases the likelihood of success, but doesn't lead to it. You can work all day long on the wrong things. You can work all day long and not believe in yourself. And some people can show up, not prepared, not ready, and have success. But more than likely, I'd invest in somebody who works hard, does the work, and knows how to filter the material. When I ask players, why are you going to succeed? They always say, I work hard. I'm like, so does everybody. Right? What are you going to do different? You're going to be better at the work that you do that's so hard? And are you going to filter it better? Those are the things I want. All right, that's segment 4. Let me take a question here from Andrew. I stopped parents after saying we have high expectations for this one in front of the junior player. Made me cringe for their father did this to me. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? Yep, doc. Yep, 100%. Like I have look, I want to get them in as many circumstances as they can to learn who they are and find out whatever path they forge forward will support. We'll be right back for our last segment.